Hello everybody, this is Georgiana with Expressions Craft Studio. Welcome back. Today we're working on some of those drapery fold cards, I think is what they're called. I've seen a couple of different people make them. They've been around for a long time. I went ahead and set the file up with my Cricut because I'm not very good at cutting straight or even scoring straight. I don't know what I do wrong, but something. So these are just some that I've already completed. I took some. So okay, let me back up a little bit. To me, because I'm so, I don't know if you want to call it right-brained, anal, logical, I don't know. But to me, if you're going to have a drape, you need to have a window. Now, the cards that I've seen actually fell more into this kind of a category where they're just, you've got the drapery on the wall, but there's no window. Now, this looks nice enough. It looks like the things that they were making. I even managed to emboss this with one of my folders to make it look like a chair rail there, but it still is just on a window. Or on a wall, there's no window. And my sense of whatever has a hard time with. I struggle with that because I feel like if you're going to have a curtain, you need to have a window. That's just me. We're not living in a castle in the 1600s where you hung that stuff up to kind of keep the draft out. So that's why I came up with these and created my window frame just using a couple of square dies, but then eventually I did go and cut out some window frames that are a little bit more decorative with the Cricut. I did cut this out with the Cricut, the drapery fold. I created my own kind of, I don't know, decorative edge on it using files that were in Access because they don't have, for whatever reason, my what do you call it? The curvy blade that's supposed to cut, the wavy blade. It wasn't cutting. It was just embossing or scoring. I don't know what I'm doing wrong with that, but anyway. So I gave up and I just made my own wavy cut line, and that's what I've been using. So I've got a bunch of them here. So this one I put on a blue cardstock. This one's a white cardstock, but I just kind of ink blended the edges a little bit so that there's a hint of blue. We've got this one on blue cardstock. The paper was something I printed out from one of my files from Creative Fabrica for the drapery portion. And then this one is just some old paper I had. I kind of thought it looked like some drapes I used to have once upon a time. So I tried that. And I did like this card it's a pearlized card. It looks really yellow in the screen, but it's more of a tan or a caramel color, I think was what it said. So these are the ones I've already completed. I've got a few more here we're going to do, and let's just kind of set those out of the way. So let's save that one for later. So I printed some more files out, and I will link all of the file sets that I use from Creative Fabrica in the description below if you're interested in those. I think the subscription price is still $3.99 a month, which is really reasonable if you like to print out digital images. Here's some more of that. This is actually a different color cardstock. It's almost the same color, it just doesn't have that pearlized sheen on it. And this was the image from Creative Fabrica, and it's just an outdoor image, so it's a window. So I printed the window, looky there, and we'll put a drape over it. I haven't finished this one yet. I did make it a little bit longer because I wanted to see what that would look like with the long window. And while that's not perfect, it kind of does cover up a lot, so I might end up trimming some more of that off just because I don't want to cover up all of that design. Now with these, I did actually print these on photo paper. It's a matte photo paper, but you can see that there's quite a bit of difference, I think, in the quality of the print. These are just on a regular thin layer of index card weight white cardstock. And so if I had printed that out on the actual photo paper, it would be it would just It would just look better. So I'm sorry if I sound like I'm all over the place. I actually was settled in for the evening to watch TV. Hubby and I were going to get caught up on one of the shows we've been following that's been released for a new season, and our internet went out. So that's put a monkey wrench in everything, but you got to do what you got to do. So I thought, well, I'll come back in here. This is another one we're going to do. This was one of the original prints, and you'll notice there's a gap there. I didn't want to waste more print behind an image you weren't even going to be able to see when time you get the curtain on there or the drape. So that's why I just left that room at the top. And I did that on the other ones that I already showed you. So this is one that I also cut out with the Cricut. This is the window frame that I cut out. Let's do it like that. And then this is the image on photo paper that'll go behind it. So it'll look like you're looking out the actual window. And I thought, oh, that looks kind of nice. So we'll do, and then you can put your curtain, whether you use this one or the other one, it doesn't really matter. I feel like I've got something folded in the wrong spot there. Or maybe I just got an accidental crease in it. But anyway, this was another one. The same drapery, but a different window style, although it's very similar. It only has four panes instead of 8 that was on the other one. And it's actually supposed to go like this, and then it has another piece that you can cut out across here. I just didn't want to be bothered with another piece, and I figured the curtain was going to cover it, or the drape was going to cover it up anyway, so I'm going to put it at the top. And I just resized everything so I wasn't wasting more photo paper than I needed to. So I spent a lot of time working out my measurements and stuff to make sure I got everything right, and that's what I've spent most of the day doing. And so then that'll go over the top like that. And then this last one here, we've got the same drape, a different window. I actually like this one a lot, but it's quite large, and I just cut this small little image out because by the time you get the drapery over the top, you're not going to be able to see what's in that. So as much as I like it, you're going to end up covering most of that up. But we'll just kind of slide that down roughly where it would go. And then this would be your drape going over the top of it. And see, it covers that up. But doesn't that look beautiful? Let me see if I can pick it up without moving everything too awful much. Looks like you're nice and warm and cozy in your living room or whatever. Well, that's what's going on outside. So what I did with mine, let's just go ahead and show you this real quick. I just ran a strip of tear and tape across the back. And so I'll just do one here real quick. Find my tape. And that was how I kind of laid it down. Now you can glue it if you want. And I did glue the first few of these that I did. But in the end, I just found this to be so much quicker because it just lays down so neatly for the most part. And then you just rip it off. And it kind of curls it up a little bit, but at least it's holding it together as one piece. So now if I wanted to go and trim that off a little bit to make it even, because for some reason, even though I'm using the Cricut, when I fold my score lines, I don't get a straight edge. See, this over here is kind of at an angle. If I keep this edge straight over here, I don't know why that is. I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but I'm just going to use my trimmer to trim that up. So that's what we've got going with those. Now I also went and created, I have one more card here. So this is the card base, and this is the window, and it's from the similar set of some of these others. Again, it's on photo paper, but look how beautiful that is. Can you just imagine being all nice and warm and toasty on the inside with a fire in the fireplace, and that's your view? How gorgeous. Now, some of that's going to get covered up, but I wanted to do a straight curtain or drape too. You notice how these are all angled, and that's how they traditionally seem to be done. I wanted one that was straight, so it didn't look like this was the center, but that was just the whole drape. So I folded this a little wonky because I wanted to see something. So if we put this here, and then we do this, and I did use my uneven edge along the bottom, I think it just gives you a nice flowy little edge. It actually looks like a drape. This really, I think, was made to go this way. And what I did was I took the measurements from May made it on one of her cards, and I'll link her video below. It's I believe several years ago. But for some reason these folds are I'm still having this extra flip back here, so this should fold under. And yeah, I don't know. We'll do it that way. Let's see. Anyway, I want to lay this down on here and just kind of get an idea. So that goes, it does go all the way across the picture that I cut, and I did design it to hang over just a little bit over the edge. Let's see. Because your curtains don't go right to the edge of the window usually. They do usually go beyond that a little bit. So actually I'll just trim off this back piece here. And I've got one more to fold, so I'll show you how to fold it. Now, this Cricut scored this for me, and I have to say, I'm not real happy with it. I think it could have done a better job. It's a little hard to see, but once I find it, and it might just depend on the paper you use. I think it does show up better on some paper. So I just kind of try to keep the top lined up when I'm folding my score lines, to make sure that it stays straight on the far edge when I'm done with it. See, now there's a score line there too. Okay, so that would go that way. All right. I flip it around so much I forget where I'm headed. Okay. So the white drape that I did, that is on paper. It's from a paper pad that I've had for years. This is actually a really, I don't know if it's a lightweight cardstock, but I'd say it's probably a lightweight cardstock. And it's an 12 by 12 that I printed on my printer over there so that I could get a nice big piece, because the cuts on this are 11.5. Now you can resize them down to 10.5, and actually the initial ones that I did were 10.5, so that does work. Okay, let's do this. Oh, I like it. Look at that. Very nice. And that way it doesn't cover up as much of your window. So I'm going to do the same thing with this one. I'm going to run my tape across the back. I'll zoom you in a little bit. Sorry about that, it's kind of jiggly. Jiggly like Jello. And I'm just going to kind of run this across here. I'm not left-handed, so this always takes me a second to line it up, and I'm just making sure I press that tape down really good. And that will look lovely. I love it. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing with this one. I'm probably going to refold it. Okay, so that went to the back. It's because I've got one at the top and one's the bottom. So if that goes to the back, that goes front, back, front, back. That's how that one would go. And I don't glue them all down because I'm going to show you this one, which I did ink the edges of the paper on this one. I like that it has a little body, just like your curtain would have. So I don't glue everything down. I just use that strip of tape, and then I might add a little bit of glue, but I'm just going to do it at the top because like I said, I like for it to have that movement, for that it just looks more realistic to me. Not that these look realistic, but you know what I mean. All right, so I'm going to, I think I'll just start gluing these together. What I'll do is I will restart the video and I'll just put some music to it and speed it up. If you want to watch, you can. If not, you can go to the end to see the finished product. And I will include my files for this, for the Cricut, on my Facebook page. Now, they are access files, so you won't be able to use them unless you have a subscription. But you can make your own window frames, and I did make one of them. I might not have cut it out, but I did make one. As you can imagine, you're just going to use a square. Then you're going to get a smaller square and cut that out of the bigger square. Then you're going to take your cut pieces and you're going to lengthen them and narrow them and center them up and make your cross beams for your windows, and poof, you made your own. And that's all using free shapes. So that is very easy to do. If you have a question about that, let me know. I'll be happy to do a video on that. It's really easy. Otherwise, yeah, let's speed this up and move along. We'll do a quick preview here. The inside still needs to be finished, but the front of the cards minus the sentiment, which will probably be something Christmassy. We have them ready to go. So I did glue down the edge on this just because it's so long. It was going to get caught up coming in and out of the envelope. So I did glue that down. I think the rest of it will be fine. I did trim them with the trimmer just to make sure my edges were straight across the top and then down the side. This one's not photo paper and this one is. So again, you can see I think you can see the difference in the print quality. They're both matte, but this one just is a little bit more crisp, I guess. So there's those. Then we've got this one. And I kind of was going for the log cabin-y type look, you know, something kind of rustic. That's why the brown, wanted something a little different there. So we've got two of those, different windows, different scenes, but basically the same concept. This was paper. The curtains on both of these were paper, as well as these. And then the curtains on both of these were cardstock. And those are both, let's see, let's just do one at a time. Again, different scene, different window pane, but the same concept. And then you have this one. And honestly, I think this one might be my favorite, but I like a lot of them. And then, of course, there were the ones we did originally. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those, and we've got 6 more. 6 more, so 11 cards. And I don't anticipate doing a lot more of this drapery style. It's really not my favorite, although I will say I like it better with the cardstock than the paper. The paper's a little bit fiddly and harder to work with. So I don't mind that as much. And I do love putting the scenes behind the window panes. I do think that just adds a little something extra. Obviously, these all still need sentiments as well as a message on the inside. And I will finish those up off screen. I think most everybody knows how to do that. I might just glue the tip of that down a little bit. It's wanting to kind of pop up. So give it a little bit of glue. I just used tape to attach my photos to the back of the window frames, and that was scrap cardstock. In fact, all of the cardstock I used, other than the card bases, was scrap cardstock for the window frames. So there you have it, guys. Let me know what you think. If you want access to the file, I will put the link on my Facebook page. And I will also link the Creative Fabrica sets if you're interested in those. This paper is old. There's no point in even telling you where I got that. It's as everything else, it's just old. But you could probably find something similar if you really like it. So until next time, this is Georgiana with Expressions Craft Studio. And I will, you know what, I will give you a little preview. So just to tell you, I did 3 different templates in Design Space, and then today I added this 4th one here, the straight one. So there's this one, and it's basically everything's just kind of the same dimension, I believe, if I remember, so it's very crisp and clean. This one and this one, I believe this one for sure was from May's measurements. This one, I might have winged this one myself as well. I'm trying to remember. And I definitely added the decorative border across the bottom. So that's what we used. That'll be in the file. But for our next video, our next card, we're going to do these pop-up cards. Well, this one's a double spiral. I may not do that one on camera, and I don't know how well you'll be able to see the spiral because it is in acetate. Now the unicorns were just there. I was just playing. Those aren't, this isn't a finished card or anything. It's just a template, a prototype, if you will. But that's the double spiral. I've already cut out several spirals, different types of spirals, with my Cricut, and I've got different sizes, different types. I kept the negative and the positive, which is how I ended up with the double spiral. And I'm trying to get to the bottom here so we can get to just the plain single spiral. But basically, once you decorate the front however you want, then just continue the theme to the inside where you line up your, coordinating cuts, die cuts, or print and cut cuts, whatever you've got. Stickers, stickers would be a little iffy unless you glue them on and not actually remove the sticky back, because you'll just end up gluing or sticking the whole card together. But you basically just finish the inside with something like that. So that'll be our next card, which will be here probably in a couple of days maybe. It takes me that long to finish designing something and then putting it together. So anyway, that's neither here nor there. I'm going to go ahead and let y'all go, but these are almost a dozen. In fact, if I want to finish it out with a dozen, I can, because I've still got this one right here. So I just have to print out one more image, which I don't know that I want to do that. So until next time, guys, this is Georgiana with Expressions Craft Studio, wishing you all a very happy, crafty day. Thank you.